Welcome to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, folks, as we get ready to talk high school football, as we get ready for week 9. Boy, it's heating up. I'm telling you, it is heating up, folks, heating up big time. Big time playoff district championship are in the looks for a lot of these teams. A lot of these teams got to go on the road to win the district championship. A lot of these teams going to have a chance to win it at home. But last week, high school football took a jump. It went from playing on Friday night to Thursday night because Mother Nature came in and said, wait a minute. We're going to have a little bit of storms. We're going to get it going. Little storms, took over. Nothing wrong with that. Mother Nature comes first. But folks, like I said, we welcome you to Oklahoma High School. I was going to say high school sports, messed up, but we welcome to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on the Sunday afternoon as we go and talk about, like I said, high school football. We'll have a special guest today, my man. We always do this the week before Colorado versus Guthrie. We'll have the beat writer Chris Evans joining me here in a little bit. We're going to talk about Guthrie. They had a big win on Saturday. They had an extra day to get ready for Altus. Altus, Colorado, and Guthrie, all three came in undefeated. Guthrie gets the win. I think it was 41-35, Guthrie's favor. So that sets them up next Friday night on Halloween, folks. Boo! Halloween against the mighty Titans, as they keep their winning streak going. So that'll happen next Friday night, folks. But you call out the Titans, help us tip-in club over there at the tip-in club. With your Beat Guthrie t-shirts. You're going to need them now because this game means a lot, folks. It means a lot. Colorado versus Guthrie is always a great game. Both teams come in undefeated. Guthrie has one loss. Only loss they have is the Tuttle, but a lot of teams that's played Tuttle got that L, so we understand that. But we're going to jump into a recap of last week's games. Like I said, they were played on Thursday night, so it changed the dynamic of, not having that extra day to work out. I know a lot of people use Thursday night. If they don't play on Thursday is a pregame to get ready for this week's Friday night game, but they had to change it up. We're going to start it off and recap of week 7, 6A. You had Bigsby and Mustang, a great game, folks. I think it was a 1-point game at one point in time, but Bigsby, as they are the number 1 team in the nation, ended up pulling it off. But Mustang is a team that I'll talk about here in a little bit in 6A that's gonna make a big time run in 6A. I think there's 4 or 5 teams that can win it all. But I think Mustang's name's going to fall in there as you look at it as they played Bigsby. The final score was 38-22. Like I said, it was a 1-point game at halftime, 1 or 2-point game at halftime. Then after that, Bigsby kind of took off. But, like I said, playing with the weather, delays and all that can kind of throw your timing off. But at the end of the day, Bigsby still is Bigsby, and then they get the win. So I know Coach Blink and Coach Montgomery over there is still clicking their heels together because you're still winning. Then you had one of the big upsets to me, folks, is on Thursday night. You had UConn over Norman North. I'm going to call it the big-time upset, 48-40. UConn gets and Norman's one of those teams that top-notch quarterbacks, one of the better receivers in the state. And UConn's a team, like I said, they're trying to do big things over there at UConn, from girls basketball, boys basketball, now the football team. They got some of the best facilities on this side of the state. They're over there taking care of business. Get a big upset. I don't know where that sits them in the trying to get into the playoffs. I can look that up here in a little bit. Then you had Deer Creek, another upset. Deer Creek over Norman, Norman and Norman North are 2 of the better teams on that side, on this side of the state. Both fighting to get in the playoff, but I don't know what it's going to do. Deer Creek knocks them off 30-28. So somebody must have went for 2 and got the 2-point conversion. The other person didn't. So, but just kind of crazy to see these teams that that should win these games. They're getting upset, especially this late in the season. I don't know if they got some guys hurt, some guys ineligible. I don't know. Like when Chris Evans come on, we'll probably touch a little bit about on that. Then you had BA over Union. Coach Antonio, just not a great season so far. I know he'll get them turned around. He left Owasso where he played in the state championship. Now he comes back to Union, where he coached and played, and it's not getting it done, right now. But hopefully he can get it turned around. They lose 29-10. Antonio just having one of them tough days. But Coach Hill goes over to B8 and doing some things. Got to have a good chance to get in the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs. BA over Union. Then you had Jinx all over Moore. Jinx like I said before, Jinx got beat by Bigsby. I said, Bigsby won that game, but I said whoever lost that game will end up being the state championship. So I really think Jinx, I'm going to say to my word, I think Jinx end up being the 6A state championship this year and go play, and go on and win that gold ball. I don't know if you can see it. I got the gold ball back here on my wall, but they have a chance to go play for that gold ball. So I'm going to keep Jinx as my team to win the gold ball. Let's go move on to 6A2. Stillwater over Putman City, which Putman City had that big win over Choctaw, come back and lose a tough one to Stillwater, 30-20. Stillwater right now, I think the only loss they have is to Carl Albert, 5-18. But Carl Albert got it going on, got one of the best backs in the states. I think I looked at his stats earlier this morning when I was kind of putting the show together. I think he's over 1,300 yards rushing, like 20-some TDs. But we'll talk about that when we talk more about that Guthrie, Carl Albert. Then you have Piedmont. He's going to probably make it to the playoffs. Still got a good chance they're fighting for the district. I think when I was looking at district plays, they're still in the top up there, so they get the win over Sophomore. Sophomore's a team I thought was going to do some things. They started off and they won the Moore Award, but when you step outside of Moore, they kind of struggle a little bit, but they get beat by Piedmont 41-19. Sand Springs over Muskogee. Sand Springs, the team on that side, I'm just telling you right now, who's ever finished, Choctaw, whoever on this side finished, and they got to go to the other side and play Sand Springs and those guys. It's going to be tough because they're loaded on that side, but Sand Springs get the win over Muskogee 49-28. Choctaw all over U.S. Grant get back in the winning column. I think they won the last two, Sophomore than U.S. Grant. Some smaller components, not as talented components that they've played, but I think that moves them back to 4-4 with 2 games left. It might want to be one of Jake's I would say his first year, I think he went 6-4, didn't make the playoffs, but he's sitting at 4-4 after coming off a state championship. But if there's anybody get a turnaround, that team will get a turnaround over there. Then move over to 5A where it gets hot, folks. It's hot in 5A. The fire is burning in 5A. You got some things going down. You got Pryor, Dale City, Pryor is all over Collinsville, 49-14 to set up the district championship against Dale City in week 10 at Pryor. My man Robert Jones got to get on that in that little red car he got in that mid-Dale bus and head up to Pryor, play for a state championship, folks. And I'm telling you right now, will be a tough place to play, just because of the simple fact, being on the road, chance to play for the district championship. Team gets a chance to knock off Dale City. You're gonna have a lot of mixed emotions going on with that, with the game going on. The fans are going to be fired up. I can tell you right now, they're going to, man, I can hear them now all the way to pot. Come down. The game ain't started yet. Already they're fired up, man. And so it will be hype in Pryor here in week 10 if both teams can take care of business in week 9. But it should, Robert should be able to take care of Claremore, and Pryor should be able to take care of who they got this week. But big time matchup, like I said, week 10 with those two. Then you go down to Newcastle and Bishop McGinnis. That'd be for the district championship. Both teams, I think, it's got like one loss. I think Bishop McGinnis undefeated. I think Darby and them guys got it going over there at Bishop McGinnis. Pretty salty team. It's a team that can easily win 5A state championship, So I tell you right now, 5A, I know everybody's trying to hand Carl Albert the gold ball, but there's some teams that's gonna battle for you. That's gonna fight to get there. You start having a couple of teams lose later on the season, it can change the dynamic where people's gonna fall at. Everybody was worried about that Carl Albert Dale City semifinals matchup. You might not get that because Carl Albert got 2 tough games left. They got Guthrie just coming up Friday night on Halloween, like I said, and you got to go to week 10. You got to go to Altus, which Altus gave Guthrie everything they wanted. Heck of a ball game, like I said, 41 to I think end of the score being like 41-31, 41-35. So that just tells you right now it's gonna be tough. Then you, like I said, then you got talk about Guthrie over Altus. Sets up a big game. Even though they played on Saturday, they got a little bit of time. They start pre-gaming. I mean, coaches really said they played on Saturday. A lot of coaches start pre-gaming on Saturday, getting ready for Carl Albert. Now, they had to probably kind of, having that extra day. Don't really have that extra day no more, so they're probably double working to get ready because Carl Albert and Guthrie is kind of like a OU Texas game. Both teams one team can be down, the other team can be up. But it doesn't matter because it's just a rival game. And so they're not playing at the Rock. I really like playing the Rock. They'll be playing at CA's house. Should be a good game. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but I'll just tell you right now, Colorado kind of got it rolling with Elijah, man. The kid's probably looking to get close to, they make it to the playoffs. He might get a 2,000-yard year. He's sitting at about 13 right now, 1350. So I'm telling you, that's a big time year for a young man, first year, starting at tailback, and that's following some of the great tailbacks they've had, in the past, with X-Rob. We'll talk about OU here in a second. I know I don't have Big Ethan on. I'll bring him on this week, but we'll talk about them here in a second too. What OU's doing, because right now it ain't looking good for my Sooners. I don't know what's wrong. I go down to South Carolina. Maybe I should have been in the stands yesterday, but I decided to stay at home and watch the game on my recliner, and it didn't work out good for me. OU never really looked good, but we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But like I said, big games. You got Newcastle getting the win over Lott Mac, 41-32. That sets them up the chance to play for the district championship against Bishop McGuinness. So that should be a great game next Friday night. I think that game's at Bishop McGuinness. So it'd be all green over there in the Belle Isle territory. Like so we talked about Guthrie. Then you got CA all over my man Zozo. Woo! At one point in time, I saw it was 14-0. I said, okay, Lott gonna give him a fight. Nah, it'll be 49-0. It's tough. So that'll bring Colorado into they got two crucial games left with Guthrie and then Altus. These next 2 weeks will be big for them because you're looking at some big time games, some big time players. I mean, one thing about Guthrie, they've been in some big battles already. They've already been in a battle with Tuttle. I think there's the closest score that Tuttle's had all year. The lowest score I think was 34-13, something like that. And then they just played Altus. So they're battle tested for Colorado just coming up Friday night. Not saying that hey. When Chris Evans get on there, he'll tell you a little bit more about that Guthrie Blue Jays. They got some guys that can go. Kind of more. They got like a three-headed monster running back. Quarterback ain't throwing no more than 700 yards. So that means they don't put the ball up a lot, but they do run the ball, but they do it with three different guys. And then Colorado does it pretty much with one guy. But like I said, we'll say that Thunder when he comes on, and then we'll talk about them. But, Colorado gets the win, like I said, over Lawton, 49-0. Big time game next Friday night, folks. Don't forget to get your Beat Guthrie t-shirts. Reach out to somebody in the tipping club to get your shirts. We want to be read out, have that shirt on, Beat Guthrie. Big time ball game. You want to keep that winning streak going, you got to have that t-shirt on. I'm telling you right now, you get the t-shirt, you get in the basketball game free during the season. So let's get that t-shirt done. So I'm out here selling for the tipping club on the Keep It 100 show. But that's what we do because we got two shows. Got Keep It 100 and we got Oklahoma High School Girls Between the Lines. So make sure you check that show out too. With me and my man, Coach V. He's not going to join me today. It's going to just be me and Chris Evans. So like I said, big time. Midwest City. My Bombers. Where my Bombers at? Yeah, where my Bombers at? Who? Wait a second. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I don't know if I can find it, folks. I don't know if I can find it. Can't find it. But my Bombers get a win. The second win of the season. Coach Washington, there you go. Like I said, this team is young, been beat up. A lot of kids first or second year. Not excuse, but you know what? Washington's not going to make any excuses. But like I said, the Bombers get a win over Classen 27-6. I give them their second win this year. Proud of them, not giving up, not throwing in the towel. Most people have thrown in the towel and gave it up. They did. They still got their towel right here. But they're still rocking and rolling. So congratulations to the Bombers getting their second win, to those seniors, there's some teams that go 0-10. These didn't go to 0-10. So a lot of love for the Bombers as they get the win over Classen 27-6. Then you got Dale City over Tahlequah 42-14. Like I said, that shows up a big showdown with them. I think they got Claremore this week. Big showdown with them in week 10 against Pryor for the district championship. It's all the marbles, folks. It ain't going to be nothing but a big ball game. Robert knows I talked to him on Saturday before he went on the Sports Animal Show with those guys and talk about his Cowboys. Well, hey, I'll tell you right now, Robert Jones is doing better than his OSU Cowboys because I'm telling you right now, everybody that's in college football, Division I, Division II, NAIA, Division Blind or whoever is picking OSU for their homecoming because, hey, you're going to get a win. And every player's like, hey, coach, let's play OSU. And they're like, why? Because I can get in the game and get time. So, hey, sorry it's like that. I mean, Gundy, he did his thing when he was there, but it was time to move on. He'll probably get a good job somewhere. Don't know where, but most likely could be going to Arkansas. he'll do his thing when he gets there. But OSU need to go find a coach. They did get their hire their athletic director, so that's good. So I'm pretty sure right now they're gonna get on that coaching search to go find a good coach. I'm hearing Penn State coach is gonna be the guy that's gonna get the job. Don't know why he was gonna go from Penn State to Valley, to Oklahoma. But hey, Oklahoma State is pretty dope. I'm gonna say if you kind of like the country area, that's what you like to do. Oklahoma State's not a bad place, but like I said, they get it turned down. They got some good things going on. Fields is playing good. Both Fields, LaDainian and then Rodney are both having good games. I know Rodney, had 100 yards rushing. I don't know what he did yesterday. Didn't look at his stat sheet. LaDainian's had a pick six. So a lot of true freshmen getting in the game. That's good, though. They're young. You get these guys in the game now, get them a lot of experience, come back next year, new coach comes in. Guess what? They ready to rock and roll. So Dell City, like I said, you guys got some guys in college doing big things. That's good. But, big time win in week 10. You get past Claremore this week. You got the Pryor. That's going to be a tough one. You got McAllister over Booker T. Don't know where Booker T is going to fall in the playoffs. Like I said, I can bring that up here in a little bit in the standings. We'll take a quick break, but then I'll bring that up. Then you got Shawnee over Edison. Coach Madonna still doing his thing over there. Look like he's going to get in the playoffs. They beat them 38-0, so great job on them with the win. Then you got Claremore. So you had Claremore over Memorial. Claremore wins 58-0. They'll take on Dell City this upcoming week. It'll be Dell City senior night. So see Dell City take care of business. Last game for my man Rickland Holmes, one of the top players in the state, man. Great kid. He signed with New Mexico. I think other teams are starting to knock on his door because the kid is good. The kid's a linebacker, running back. I can see him flipping at the end of the year. Don't know. It just depends on what he wants to do. Sometimes you stick with the ones that came and got you when you first started. So that's what you want to see. That's what you want to do. So I can see, Rickland staying at New Mexico. I think that's where he's going. So, but if he does flip over, wherever he goes, they're going to get a great young, player in this young man. So good luck to Rickland. Like a senior night, like I said, I know Coach Jones going to have those boys ready over at Dell City against Claremore. Like I said, Claremore's in there fighting for a playoff spot, one of the east side teams. So then you got Bishop all over Southeast. Southeast started off good. I said, man, Southeast might be all right. They beat my Bombers. Man, nah, just a tease. It's just a tease. But hey, Bishop is the real deal. They got it going over there at Bishop, man. Every year, Bishop's one of those teams you don't know who they got until you go play them. It's a private school, so kids move in. I think their transfer situation is totally different than Oklahoma City schools, Middale schools, and Edmond and all them. They beat it a different drum than most people do, so they get different options. So. You never know what Bishop begins to get until you get them on film. You start seeing some of their games, and you're like, man, this is what they got. And a lot of teams are like that, though. You think that they're solid until you play them. But like I said, Bishop McGinnis all over Southeast. Then, like I said, Altus and Guthrie game was played on Saturday. Guthrie gets the win. I really thought Altus might pull that out, but Guthrie gets the win. But hey, Guthrie's a good team. Like I said, you'll find out next Friday night as they come into Middale area and take on the Colorado Titans. Moving on to 4A. 4A is where it gets solid too, folks. I love to talk about 4A. As a team I break down here a little bit, having a hell of a year. What they're doing over in 4A, but you got the team still to beat. And 4A is going to be your boys Tuttle all over Blanchard 49-7. So Blanchard fighting to get in the playoffs right now don't look good, but like I said, here in a minute we'll take a break and I'll break down those district, how everybody looks in those districts and who's in and who's trying to get in. So, but Tuttle all over Blanchard. Then you got Grove over Wagner, 50-20. Grove's another team in 4A that's solid. You'll see in the playoffs. It's going to make the playoffs. Then you got Broken Bow over number 6, Broken Bowl over number 3, Ada, 40-14. Number 6 over number 3, Ada, 40-14. Not a good night for Ada. Broken Bow's a good team. Poto over Salazar. Poto is not having his best year, but still having a good year. They was over number 4, Salazar, 28-13. And Hare over Medill. Hare and Medill was a tight game for a half. Then they took off and then took care of business, got Brock Day back. Hare gets a big win last week. I didn't do the show. I was in South Carolina. Hare gets a big win over Bethany. Big time game. Kyle Whitner went out and had 6 to 6 to 8 touchdowns. He has so many each game. I can't keep up with him. But I'll talk about their stats here in a minute as I start breaking down. When I bring Chris Evans on, we'll break them down. But Harrison having his best year. Congratulations to Coach Blink and his staff and what those guys are doing over there at Harris, man. Got it going on. I think they're sitting at 6-2, 2 games left against Ardmore and Tuttle. A chance to keep rising their stock. You go knock off Ardmore this week. You got a chance to play Tuttle for a district championship, maybe a tie for the district championship. I don't know how to do it. It probably goes down to points. So if it came down to points, they probably will pull it off because they got less loss and blown a lot of teams out. And Harris had a lot of games that's been close, but Harris can get those. Even they get this next win, they can maybe finish at the number 2 seed. That'll keep them away from Clinton. And then, like I said, when we break down the district here in a minute, you'll kind of tell you where everybody's sitting at. But big job with Blink. He's gonna get those guys in the playoffs. I know when I did their media day at the beginning of the year, we talked about playoffs, and I think that some of these guys really wanted, some of these seniors wanted. Coming in with a sophomore quarterback, played a little bit as a freshman, then a brand new running back, losing Jackson, and then bringing Brock Day in is having a heck of a year over close to 800 yards rushing. Like I said, we'll talk about their stats. I got them all wrote down, so I know what they are. But both him and Cal and the receivers, Krebs, and a lot of these guys, young man Ethan that came over from McLeod, leading them on defense and interceptions. I think he got 4. Like I said, we'll talk. I'm not going to steal all their thunder right now. We'll talk about them as when I start breaking down. I got 3 teams I want to break down. I think it's Guthrie, Carl Albert, Harry, and Jones. Those 3 teams I kind of want to break down, talk about some of their players and what they've done this year, and then putting their names out there, for players of the year and stuff like that. But big win, like I said, for Hare over Medill, 62-21. At one point in time, I think it was 21-21. Then they went on, took the lead 28. Then after that, they just took off. Armour over Bethany, 53-16. It sets up the big game against week 9 against Hare to find out who's on. Both teams are still fighting for seeding. If it ain't for the district championship, at least they're fighting for seeding. So should be a good game Friday night. It's going to be played up in Ardmore. So Coach Blake got to get those boys ready to get on the road, and he will. And then you got Cushing over Miami, 34-7. Elgin over Douglas. Elgin's one of the top teams in 4A in the other district. So you don't want to try to face them coming off a state championship last year. Could easily do it again this year. So keep your eye on Elgin. They try to go back-to-back state championship for different classes. No, I think there should be class 4A because Newcastle, I think, ended up Tuttle didn't play last year, and Tuttle got beat by him. So Elgin's looking to I think Elgin was 5A at one point in time, but I think they moved back down to 4A is what it was. Cushing, I think I talked about that. Kingfisher over North Rock Creek. North Rock Creek's running back is doing his thing over at Northwest Texas. They still need you, young man, Adam Edwards. But right now, they got blanked. They could have used you on Thursday night. They got beat 34-0 against Kingfisher. Kingfisher's a team that's top in 3A. And you got Heritage Hall over Pauls Valley 43-2. I wonder if Coach, you score 43 points and you give up 2. And the 2 had to be a safety, So I don't know if it was a punter was on the end zone, he backed out, or they fumbled it in, not fumbled, but got sacked in the end zone. I wonder if the coach is probably fired up because me, you score 43 points. I know you're happy about that, but then you give up 2 points. You're like, 2. I mean, touchdown's different. It happens, but giving up 2 points is totally different. So, but good game on Heritage Hall. Like I said, still one of the top teams in 3A, 43-2. Then you got Plainsville over Anadarko, 49-28. And then you go off to 2A. A couple of games I just want to touch base on here. Yeah, Kiefer over Bethany, Bethel, 53-0. My man, Coach Glenn. I think he's fighting to get in the playoffs. He's right there. Then you got OCS over Blackwell, 35-6. Well, set up the big game. Jones, see that green helmet, them horns. I guess you go up because they not OSU. They was not OSU, but Texas. They was Texas. We would go down. But since they're the Greenhorns, we'll go up, give them some love. Took care of business against Mount St. Mary. This game, everybody had it on the map, had it circled besides the OCS game. Jones is a real deal. Hanson, Jackson in the backfield is a combination. I watched the first 2 plays. I think Hanson took it like 60, 70 yards for a quarterback keeper. Jackson, good little running back that was at Dale City, took his talents over to Jones, and it's been good for him. He'd have played behind Rickland and Blackwolf. And so he's done a great job. He's just a junior, so you can see big things from this young man over at Jones offense. Coach Darrell got it going on over there, and like I said, it's one of the teams that I'm going to go over their stats and some of their players and see what they've done this year. You know, so Jones has got it rocking and rolling. They got, like I said, they got a tough game this come Friday night against OCS. That should be for the district championship. You know, and they knocked off Mount St. Mary. Everything else should follow. If they can get that, Jones can get that win over OCS, they should be the district championship because I think they're in the year with Blackwell. So it shouldn't be a tough victory to get over them. But that's where we're at right now, folks. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come right back after one of our sponsors, and then I'm just kind of break down some of the district where people are standing at, where they're sitting at in their spots. And so we'll be right back, folks, after one of our sponsors, as we always do. Be right back.
The gang's the same, but we changed the name, and we're now Chaos Customs OKC. Still your one-stop shop for all your vehicle upfitting and accessory needs. With almost 30 years in the business, we're your go-to for lift kits, wheels, tires, spray liners, bed covers, leather, fleet solutions, and so much more. Give us a call today at 405-778-8878.
Welcome back to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday afternoon. Like I said, we'll have Chris Evans joining me here in a few. We're going to talk about standings real quick to kind of see where everybody's sitting at. You kind of paint the picture for yourself, what you got to do. I'm pretty sure the coaches know more than I do, but it's going to kind of give you a little breakdown where everybody's standing at right now. In 6A, you got Bigsby sitting at, at the number one Jinx, the Norman Mustang. Deer Creek is fighting to get in, so they're going to need a little bit of help to get in to the top four. Like I said, once again, you got Bigsby, Jinx, Norman, and then Mustang, and then Deer Creek sitting right there fighting to get in the other district. On the other side district, you got Owasso, Broken Arrow, Edmond Memorial, Union. Union still got a chance to get in, even though Antonio ain't having a great year. You got Norman North, and then you got UConn. So kind of still put themselves right there in the fix to get in. Those three teams, like I said, you got Union, Norman North, UConn. All three of those teams are fighting to get in, so they still could get in, folks. So you never know what's going to happen. And then when you go down to the 682, you got Stillwater sitting number one, Piedmont, Putnam City, Choctaw sitting at the number 4 seed, which is funny because this team's a state championship team. But hey, once you get in, once you punch that ticket, anything can happen. You got Sophomore, Northwest Classen, Eisenhower, and Grant, and then you go to District 2. Number 2, you got Sand Springs, Sapopa, Muskogee, PC North, Ponca City, Bartlesville, Capitol Hill, and PC West. That's your class 6A. Let's move over to 5A. It gets a little bit tougher. You got Bishop McGinnis sitting number 1 in their district against Newcastle. Like I said, those two will play this upcoming Friday night for the district championship. MacArthur, Southeast still like they're going to get in. Duncan. My man Rice going to have his son on soon. Midway City still sitting right there. I think, like I said, they might all go to the playoffs. I'm not sure if they change that format or not. I know it used to be the top 4, but it might be the top 6. Might be everybody. I don't know how it goes anymore. You got Guyman, then you got Classen. And then on the other end, you got Carl Albert, Guthrie, Althus, Lawton, Noble, El Reno, John Marshall, and then Western Heights. Then you go down to District 3, 5A. You got Coweta, McAllister, Booker T should get in. Shawnee's going to get in. Durant, Bishop Kelly, Eisenhower, Prep, and then East Central. Then you got the other one. You got Pryor. They got Pryor number 1. Then you got Dale City because Pryor's undefeated. Dale City got 1 loss to Edmond Memorial. You got Collinsville, Claremore, Nathan Hall, Rogers, Tahlequah, and then Memorial. Those are your districts for 5A. Move over to 4A, where they got a bunch of teams. I think the top 4 go. I know the top 4 go in this district. You got Elgin, you got Clinton, you got Weatherford, Cache, Elk City. So your top 4 should be Elgin, Clinton, Weatherford, and Cache. And then you go to District 2, you got Tuttle, Ardmore, Harris sitting at number 3. But if Harris can get that win over Ardmore, that'll put them at number 2. Then they can knock off Tuttle. And then week 10 at home, games I would be at. I'm trying to get my man JD over there with me. Love to see Kyle. And then top other quarterback in the state of class 4A, my man Cruz Campbell, 2 good QBs going at it, 2 pretty boys, Hollywood superstars. You can call them surf guys. Both got good hair, can flip it up like that. Both probably use Head and Shoulders, but get to see those 2 guys go at it. Like I said, you got Bethany sitting there. Bethany and Blanchard both fighting to get to that 4th seat. And then you go down to the District 3. You got Cushing, Fort Gibson, Grove, Alaguda. I don't know how you said that. Skytook and Wagner. Wagner's the team that's been there. You can tell they've kind of fallen off a little bit. They probably won't make it this year to the playoffs. And then the District 4, you got Broken Bow, Ada, Salazar, and Pohita and Hisdale. So they're still fighting to get in. So that's how your districts kind of look so far through the 4A. 4A, then we're going to move over to 3A real quick. You know, got Heritage Hall sitting at number 1 in their district. Got Plainview, Kingfisher, Anadarko, Kingfisher. Team just got a big win the other day. Then you got North Rock Creek. They just beat up it's not going to make it to the playoffs this year. Then you go to District 3-2. You got Sulphur, Perkins, Trian, Lone Grove, and Bristow. Those will be your top 4. Then you go down to District 3. You got Lincoln Christian. Probably the team, them or, Heritage Hall favorite to win it. Idabel, Holland Hall, and Eufaula. And then you go down to District 3-4. You got Cassia Hall, Berry Hill, Alalona, and Verticus be your top 4 in those class 3. Then we're going to move over to 2A real quick. 2A, you got Jones, like I said, sitting at number 1. We'll play this week for the district championship against Oklahoma Christian. Then you got Mount St. Mary, they got beat. Then you got Chisholm, so they'll be the top 4. Jones already knocked off those 2. Like I said, their last game will be against Blackwell. Millwood's not going to make it this year, don't look like. Even though Millwood knocked off Mount St. Mary, that's what happened, folks. You can knock off a team and still not make it. But like I said, then you got Washington, Marlowe, Lindsay, and Little Axe. Little Axe, get him a hand, folks. A team that's been down, but got it going on, man. Little Axe used to be everybody's homecoming, kind of like OSU is now. But Little Axe got to give us some love, man. They got it going on. Then you go down to District 2A, 3. You got Kingston, Kiefer, Haver, and Hugo. Bethel is looking in. Hope my man Coach Glenn can get in. Hope his team can get in and do their thing and get in the playoffs. So like I said, once you get in the playoff, anything can happen. And then when you go down to the last district, no, it ain't the last district. Boy, I tell you, 2A is big. It's like the NCAA college basketball bracket. You got Metro Christian, Sequoia, Chandler, and Sperry. And then you go down the last one, district. No, I'm sorry. Maybe that's how it is. It's both the districts together. I'm sorry. That's why it's so big. You got Metro Christian, Sequoia, Chandler, and Sperry. Then you go down over here. You got Stroud, Hennessy, Cassidy, Kingsville. Then you keep going down to the other district too. You got Holyville, Davis, Dribble, and Biggs. And then the last one, I know it's not even the last one. You got Adair, Colorado. We got a team called Colorado in Oklahoma. Then you got Viam. You got Wilbur, Antlers, and that should be it. So those are all the districts. Don't know how they're standing. That's what the top 4 gets in. I think class 6A2 is the only one that might be different from anything else, but I think everything else kind of falls in this place. So that's where we're sitting at, folks. Like I said, got some big games coming up. Like I said, when Chris Evans comes on, we'll talk about Guthrie and Carl Albert, break down Jones and then OCS, and then break down Hare and Ardmore. Should be 3 solid good games. Those will be some of the top games in the state coming up in class, 5A, 4A, and then you got class with Jones being 2A. So some big time games, folks. But like I said, we're going to take another quick break. We'll bring my man Chris Evans on, the beat writer for the Guthrie Blue Jays. Does a good job, does the huddle, does a different kind of channels with up there, high school sports. Him and his guys cover the UCO championship games. When we come back, me and him be on that UCO field where that gold ball is taking that. So we'll talk high school football here. Like I said, after a quick break, bring him on, and we're going to talk a little bit of high school football, talk playoffs. We're about 2 weeks away. Folks, can you believe it? We're already in week 9, and the weather is still nice. Yes, we got a little bit of rain. It took some of the games away, but the weather's still nice, man. I'm still wearing shorts and T-shirts. A little chilly this morning, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm ready for a little bit of chill. Not too cold. Not ready to frost my windshield. None of that stuff. Yeah, I like a little bit of chill. Get up, drink a little bit of coffee. Didn't get no coffee this morning. I got my Coke Zero. That's what I need this morning to get me going, to get me power through this show. But like I said, we'll be right back after one of our sponsors. Keep it 100 on the Sunday morning. Glad I could join you guys talking high school football. Be right back.
Man, Dad, all this crazy weather has gotten our roof and gutters all messed up. Good thing we know some guys over at Rain Down Roofing and Gutters. They can inspect and repair your roof and gutters and get in contact with your insurance company in 72 hours or less.
Call Jay Hunt at Rain Down Roofing and Gutters at 405-473-0674. No job is too big or too small for Rain Down Roofing and Gutters.